As you know, we've made a lot of announcements with SE Test, and we will start with the writing section now. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. It looks like we had some problems with the sound. Still figuring out how to stream live the best way. Still learning how to do that. So today we're going to go over the winner of our IELTS writing competition. I also want to go over a quick lesson and introduce the writing section. I also posted a video here on YouTube, okay? So we're just gonna wait maybe another minute or two. We're supposed to start here at 8. I think we have another minute, and I want to share this on Facebook as well to make sure if students are on Facebook and expecting a live broadcast on Facebook, they can join us here on YouTube. So like I said, I want to review the IELTS writing introduction. So if this is something like if the IELTS test is new to you, then this would be a perfect this will be a perfect opportunity to learn a little bit about the writing section for the IELTS. Okay, so I'm going to go over that very quickly because I also uploaded a video about the writing section on YouTube already, so you can actually check out that video. Okay, so I just want to post in the group. So we are live now. Just making a post for our Facebook group. Come check out our live lesson. Okay, so we're all set. I made a post into the Facebook group, so if anyone wants to join, they can follow the link through Facebook. And also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way you will know when we go live. You can also think there's a notification button. So like it looks like a bell. I don't know if that's a great drawing. So it looks like a bell, and you can watch or notify you. So it will tell you when I am live, and you can join and listen to our live lessons. Okay, so congratulations to Jumana for winning today, winning the competition. This is her essay. We will review her essay today. So congratulations to her. We'll review it, and we'll go over some things that she did really well. I think this is a pretty well written essay overall. Maybe we will look at her score, and I can show you, I think it's a 6.5 or 7 written essay. There are some things she can improve on, and we'll talk about those as well too. I think there are 2 major things, and if she would have done those well, it would have maybe been a 7.5 or an 8 essay. Okay, so let's go over the... First, I want to show you here. So this is the IELTS writing practice website. So this is where you will find all of the information for the IELTS, for the writing section. Okay, so like I've mentioned, we are now developing materials for the writing section of the IELTS exam. So we have a course for the speaking, and I'm always modifying and improving the course as well. So you can check out the speaking course, okay? But we are really going to focus on writing in the next month or so, maybe probably longer than a month. But make sure you are signed up for the writing competition. So you can go to setest.com, IELTS-writing-practice, and you can find this page. Okay, so make sure you enter in your name, your email, and submit, and you will receive an email. The email will contain a link to week 1, okay? It will show you the link, and it will also have a password. Okay, so if we go to week 1, there is no password because the competition for week 1 is complete. Okay, so you can go see the essay prompts for week 1, and you can also check out the student essays. So we had a few students submit their essays, but if we go to week 2, week 2 will require a password. It will ask you for a password. So you will need to enter the password, okay? How do you get this password? You need to sign up for the writing competition, and to do that, you enter your name and email here. Okay, you can also find this in the Facebook group. You can also find it in the link below. Okay, so again, if you want to participate in the challenge for this week, week 2, and next week and the following week, we'll hopefully do it a few more times. I'm not sure how long we will continue with the competition, but we're going to do it each week until maybe I run out of materials or I don't have time. Okay, so going to continue it throughout the next maybe month, maybe longer. Okay, if you have questions about the writing section, you can always make a comment in the Facebook group. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Okay. If you have questions about any other part of the IELTS exam, again, in the Facebook group, you can ask any question you might have. Okay, so let's go over the writing section. Okay, so I'm going to go over this pretty quick. I might skip some slides because I uploaded a video. You can check it out and watch the video on YouTube already. But I just want to review it before we get into the winner's essay. Okay, so there are 2 different tests for the IELTS. There's an academic and a general. So in some parts of the test, they're the same. Other parts of the test, they're different. Okay, the writing test is both. So the first part of the writing section, writing task 1, it's different for the general and different for the academic. Okay, writing task 2 is very similar in both. Okay, you have 1 hour to complete. I recommend spending 20 minutes on task 1, 40 minutes on task 2. This is because, we're gonna skip that one, writing task 2 is worth twice as much as writing task 1. Okay, so writing task 1 is still important, and you can really learn some techniques very quickly on how to successfully complete writing task 1. For both the general and the academic, there are some strategies you can employ, some strategies you can use that will help you with writing task 1. Okay, but then writing task 2 requires a bit more of time and effort and practice. Okay, there are still strategies and techniques, and every essay in English, just about every essay is the same. It includes introduction, the body paragraphs, and the conclusion. So general task, we have an email. Academic task, you have to look at a chart or a table or diagram. Okay, so The general task, you have formal, semi-formal, and informal. You can take a look at this video. I go over each of the emails if you want to look at what type of emails. Okay, and then we have the academic. So there's charts, diagrams, graphs, tables, or a combination of both. Okay, so then we have our chart. This is an example. You can check this out live, or sorry, not live, on the other video. If you want to, you can look at the video I already uploaded. Diagram, graph, table, okay? Then again, writing task 2 is a 250-word essay. It includes an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Okay, so that's very quickly the writing introduction. You can check out the full video on YouTube in our channel. We uploaded it earlier today, so it is available to watch. Okay, if you want to take a practice test, you can check out the link below, and I will give you an evaluation and a score and some feedback on your essays. Okay, please subscribe to our channel, and if you want, share the video with others you might think would benefit from it. Okay, so that was very quick. We went really, really fast over the IELTS introduction, mainly because most of the people in the group, they're aware of what the IELTS is. They know the writing, they know what to expect. Okay, but if you're new to the IELTS, if this is something new to you, check out our video on YouTube. Okay, if you go to our channel, I think you can click on our link below, and it will take you to all of our videos. We have a lot of videos, a bunch of videos about the IELTS speaking. Okay, and we have a series of videos for scoring a 9 on the speaking. Okay, but also if you want to learn about the writing, we are working on materials and uploading videos and creating a course for the writing section of the IELTS. Okay. So again, congratulations to Jumana. We're going to actually go over her essay now, and we'll see what she did well and some things maybe she could have improved on. Pay attention to the mistakes she made. Okay, maybe the mistakes are the same, they're similar to what you do, and it can help you when you write your essays. And also look at some things that the student did well. She has a very well written essay. There's a couple things that could have been better that would have really increased her score. So let's take a look at her essay. So we have her introduction. The majority of people think that studying is important for children to be ready for the job market. However, I extremely believe in this theory, and this essay will discuss the benefits of early educated workers. Okay, so maybe you might see the issue with this introduction. Actually, it's a pretty complex sentence, which is generally good, but we need to be sure if we use more complex writing that our writing is still very clear. Okay, so the problem with this is it might be complex, but the writing actually is not very clear. We lose the idea that she's trying to express because it's too complex. Her writing is too complex. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn on the review here. So it writes in red. So actually, the majority of people think that studying is important for children to be ready for the job market. Okay, So that's actually two ideas. The first idea ends, the majority of people think that studying is important for children. That's the first idea. Then we have a new idea. So to be ready for the job market, however, I extremely believe in this theory, and this essay will discuss the benefits of early educated workers. Okay, so there is an issue with this. I'm not sure what this theory is. And with our introduction, we need to be very clear on the idea we are introducing. Okay, so we need to actually, to know what this theory is, we have to actually look at the body and see what is she writing about, what is the idea here. Okay, so we should not have to do that for the introduction. We should know what the idea is at the very start of your essay. Okay, so I actually looked at the body, and I think we can rewrite it this way. So the majority of people think that studying is important for children. It is necessary to be ready for the job market. However, I disagree completely. And that can be the end of our idea. I believe that students who focus on education early will contribute greatly to society, and not, we need a comma there, and not only the workplace. Okay, so it's important, I guess the essay prompt was about education. Some people believe education is meant to prepare students and children for the workplace. Let's actually, we can type that up here. Some people believe education is meant to prepare students and children for the workplace. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, so that's the essay prompt. So it's important we address the essay prompt, which is what she believes here. I believe what? Well, she doesn't believe that education is part of the work, prepares students for the workforce. Okay, she believes that education is something that helps students contribute to society. Okay, you could maybe argue that working is a contribution to society. Okay, but here at least the idea is a bit more clear. If we look at her body paragraphs, okay, we have, first, there is no doubt that education is a significant weapon in a young person's hand. Okay, so actually, a young person's hand is a very good metaphor, but the grammar is a little incorrect. So we could say, first, there is no doubt that education is a significant weapon in a young person's hand. Significant weapon in a young person's hands. Okay, so a young what? A young hand, right? We want the hand to be a part of a person. So a young person's hands, and we have usually more than one hand, okay, so it should be hands. That gives them power to find their dream job and makes their future. Okay, so here makes their future. I think we all have a future, right? Hopefully, obviously. I hope that we have a future no matter what. But what I think she means is find their dream job and creates opportunities in the future. Okay, so what kind of future do we want? We want a future with more opportunities. Okay, so in addition, life becomes more complicated and very expensive, and people need to think more seriously about the expenses and the income to make balance in their lifestyle. Okay, so here, I think the only thing is we want to change it to have balance in their lifestyle, or actually to have a balanced lifestyle. Okay. For example, the young man who attempts to make a family, he should have a good job with good benefits and income to enable him to pay the bills. Okay, so for example, the young man who attempts to have a family, he should have a good job with good benefits, and we can't forget the article, and income to enable him to pay the bills. Okay, so the expression is usually to have a family, not to make a family. Again, we need the article. Furthermore, the job market requires a highly professional workforce these days, focusing on special candidates and educated workers. Multinational companies to hiring especially, okay. So here we need to actually end our sentence, our idea ends. Furthermore, the job market requires a highly professional workforce these days, focused on specialized candidates and educated workers. And then this is actually a new idea, and the voice is passive, so we need to create an active sentence. So we would say multinational companies especially are looking to hire educated workers, and they offer a salary for only qualified candidates. Okay, so educated. Okay, so candidates we would use instead of employees, because a candidate is someone who is possibly going to be hired. Okay, an employee is someone who is hired. So if they're offering a salary, this is to someone who may get hired. Okay, so we have our next body paragraph. On the other hand, educated people are sometimes the cause of many problems to society, and they would be jobless and ultimately a burden. So we need to change the cause, sometimes the cause of. So it should become a noun, because on the other hand, uneducated people are sometimes, we have the verb are already, are sometimes the cause of. We could say, on the other hand, uneducated people cause many of the problems to their society. Okay, we actually need to take out there, because society is not one group owns society. It's all of our society. So many problems to society, and they would be jobless and ultimately a burden individual depending on the government's aids or on others' mercy. So this is the end of the sentence, end of the idea. Many problems society and they would be jobless, period. However, it depends on the individual. Sorry, I need to go back. We need this part, and ultimately a burden is part of this idea too. And ultimately a burden. However, depending on the individual, this depends on the individual I lost her idea here. Let's go back. Okay, so many problems in society and they would be jobless and ultimately a burden. However, this is up to the individual. And it depends on the government's aids or on others' mercy. Well, actually, we're talking about the individual. This is up to the individual. So they depend on the government's aids or other mercy. However, this is up to the individual and if they depend on the government's aids or on others' mercy. Okay. Moreover, crimes could increase instead of be increasing. Okay, could increase. We actually have a formula for using could, and we would say so it could be fun would be our adjective. We would use could be and an adjective. If we use a verb, it would be crimes could increase or crimes could depend on. Okay, so could plus be plus an adjective or could plus a verb. Those jobless people involve themselves in trouble by doing things against the law. So we actually want to change unemployed because this is more formal for an essay writing instead of jobless. For instance, in my country, a study shows that most robbing crimes, so robbing crimes are actually just called robberies, are committed by people who barely finish their secondary school. We might need to be clear here because you cannot barely finish school. You either don't or you do. Are committed by people who maybe did not. I'm not sure. You just have to be clear and you would have to say they did or did not. Okay, so maybe they just passed or they had low grades. Okay, are committed by people who finished their secondary school with low grades. You could say this, or who did not finish their secondary school. Just depends on what is true. Okay, and finally the last part. To conclude, I am completely convinced that education is the most important stage in life that allow us to figure out the right direction and give us the future key, while ignorance is the way of darkness. Okay, so that's a very heavy statement, very strong statement. Okay, but it actually doesn't summarize our essay. Okay, it's missing some things. So this is another larger challenge with this essay. I think if the introduction and conclusion were written better, the score would have been much higher, maybe a whole point higher. So to conclude, I am completely convinced that education is the most important stage in life. And it is not only suited for preparing people for the workplace, it allows us to figure out the right path in our lives and gives us the key to the future. And any lack of education could be harmful to the individual and to society. Okay, so the biggest key to a conclusion is you are able to summarize the entire essay in just 1 or 2 sentences. So if you look at the conclusion, we see that she introduced her idea. She's not convinced that education is, or she is convinced, I'm sorry, that education is the most important stage in life. And it's not only suited for preparing for the workplace. Okay? And that was her introducing the idea in the introduction, but it allows us to figure out the right path in our lives and gives us the key to the future. Okay, so that clause, that part of the sentence, is about paragraph 2, and then we have the next part of the sentence. And any lack of education could be harmful to the individual and to society. And so that is paragraph 3. That sums up the whole paragraph in just that clause. Okay, so that is the essay. There's actually more to the editing. I want to show you here in just a second. So remember, when writing your essay for part 2, you need to include an introduction. Introduction needs to be very, very clear. If you only had 1 or 2 sentences to answer the question, how would you answer it? That's the best way to think about the introduction. Okay, and also the body paragraphs are your main points and your support, and your examples or evidence. Okay, and the conclusion needs to summarize the entire essay. Okay, so the whole essay in just 1 or 2 sentences. I asked my students to do this last week, or just a couple days ago actually. They are reading an essay in my advanced reading and writing class, and I told them they have to write the whole essay. They have to tell me in 2 sentences. They have to tell me everything about the essay in 2 sentences. Okay, that is actually a conclusion, especially in these short essays. A larger essay might include 4, 5 sentences. Okay. So I want to show you one more thing before we end for the night. Okay, so this is her essay again. This is what you would receive if you win. Okay, we'll have a winner next week. I edited her essay. These are all things we did together. Okay, and I also gave some feedback on the things that you would do well with your essay, some things that need improvement. Okay, and I also give you a list of all the errors and why they are incorrect. Okay, so she had 24 mistakes, which actually isn't a lot. Some of them are very small errors. Some of them are from complex sentences. Okay. And then the score. So I used the public band score descriptors from IELTS to assess the score of your essay and give you an explanation of why you received that score. So I think her coherence and cohesion may have been higher if the introduction and conclusion was written a little better. She used a lot of complex sentences. She had a few errors though, so wasn't quite an 8 for any category because of the amount of errors. If there were fewer errors, maybe you could get up to that 8 score. Okay, and then you total the 4, divide by 4. And that's the average of the 4 categories. And you round up or round down. So 7.12 would be down to a 7. Okay, so maybe if she would have scored higher in one of the categories on the high end, it could have been a 7.5, but we went down. All right, so that's it for tonight. Next week, we will go live, but it will be earlier in the day, okay? So I'm not sure if you might have to work at the time. I'm going to update the group and let you know exactly when we will be live. It will be next Thursday. And again, it's not too late to participate. Come practice your writing. The more you participate, the more chances you have to win and receive a feedback or receive feedback, an evaluation, and a score for one of your essays. Okay. Again, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, you can ask. It's really helpful if you have a question, post in the Facebook group so everyone can see the question. They might have a similar question. And please share if you think this video is helpful. Other students will definitely think so too. Again, thank you, and we will see you next.